So welcome, I'm Philippe Coupé from Brussels Airlines. We're preparing a flight today on course to Banjul, Conakry. Co-pilot today is Mr. Johan de Vin.
Here is the satellite
You
chart.
see the weather front is lower.
Yes, so the weather is nice here, no problem, no thunderstorm. The wind is coming from the north.
Should be a beautiful day to fly.
Here is the forecast for Banjul, 260 degrees 6 knots KVK, and the alternate of Banjul is Dakar. Dakar is 340 degrees 10 knots KVK. The weather en route is nice. Agadir is between 12 and 14, 280 degrees 10 knots, fuel at 2000. Variable between 160 degrees and 240 degrees, temperature 6. QNH 1016. So, thank you.
Thanks.
Have a nice flight.
Thank you.
Goodbye.
So we are at the Sierra Foxtrot November, one of our A330-300, flying to Banjul. Before we take off, the first thing we have to do, of course, is an external check of the aircraft. So if you'll just follow me, I'll show you everything I'm looking for around the aircraft. First thing we're going to have a look at the nose wheel. We have the general condition of the nose wheel. We have the two taxi lights that will be showing us in the dark. The main wheel, checking that the wheels are okay. Checking there's no hydraulic fluid or anything dripping out of the nose wheel. And then we just walk it back all the way to the nose of the aircraft. We have the two pitos, one only for the first officer side. And we just check that the radome is not any bird strike or anything, any hooks on it. Then we switch to the left side. We have the oxygen discharge bottle, just to make sure that the crew has oxygen. And we come back to the back side of the nose wheel, checking that we have the ground power connected, that all the lights inside the wheel wells are off, and the back side of the wheels to make sure that there's no cuts into the wheel. We just look at the bottom side, the extract of the air from the avionics, that's the hot air coming outside. We have the pitos and the static ports all located on the same side. You have here the captain, the standby, the first officer. As we walk around, we just have a check on the fuselage with the air intakes of the air conditioning. Just the ferry inside, no bumps, no bruises on it. Have a check of the wing. And as we come to the wing, we come to the most important, which is the engine. This is a General Electric engine. We just check that all the doors, the relief doors, are closed and that there is no fuel dripping under the aircraft. We have a drain mast under it. That's our primary detector. If there is any problem on the engine, it will be dripping fuel or oil under the aircraft. We just go to the front. To the front, we make sure that all the fan blades are okay. There's no dent, no bumps, and make sure that there is no bird strike, birds that went into it, remaining feathers or anything like that. Also, just the overall engine to make sure everything is good. Same thing on this side. We check that all the doors are closed, relief valves are closed. And then we get to the back of the engine, where you see very well the exhaust of the fan and the exhaust of the main core of the engine. Then we just walk all the way down the wing, just looking at the structure of the wing, making sure, again, that's all in good state. And we go all the way to the end. And the last little door that we see all the way at the end is for the fuel. It's just the exhaust in case we have an overflow of fuel. It just goes out through that door. Make sure it's clean, means the aircraft didn't have any trouble. We are checking the wing, especially the winglets, making sure there's no dent in the winglets and that the static discharger are all on the wing. We have 3 on the winglets and we have up to 5 on the wing itself. As we walk back down, we're going to check the flaps. We have the 4 flap tracks. Just make sure that they are in good state and they are in their position retracted. And we get back to our main landing gear. Main landing gear, beginning from the back. We look at the wheels. We check the overall condition, brakes. This is the brake wear, where we see that we have enough brakes. If they are flushed, means that the brakes are used. In this case, very good brakes. Along the strut itself, make sure that there's no leaking of hydraulic in the strut itself. Still checking the cover of the wheel. Same thing for the brakes in front. Checking the wear, and we see that this one is a little bit worn in comparison of the other ones. It's still well within limits. And as we get under the wheel well, we can just look at the whole structure of the landing gear, making sure that electrical connection and hydraulic connections are all okay. Nothing is leaking. And just we walk all the way back to the wheel, making sure that's all okay. Under the fuselage, refueling panel is closed. The water drain panel has to be closed. And we have here the cargo, aft cargo is closed as well. The portable water service door is also closed. It has been serviced. The waste service is closed as well. And we get to the back, we'll have a look at the APU. The APU is not running for the moment, so you see the flap door is still in the closed position. And we have a general look at the stabilizer, having also 4 discharge on each side, and also 5 discharge on the rudder tail. On the left hand side, we'll see also that right next to the APU door, you have the APU fire discharge indicator. So it's a red dot. If the red dot is missing, it means that the bottle has been discharged. Then we just generally look at the fuselage, making sure that nothing has hit the aircraft. And as we get back to the main landing gear again, same thing. We check the wheels, we check the brakes, check the structure of the wheel itself. No false connections or any hydraulic leaking. And again on the strut, clean, no hydraulic on it. Brakes in the front, also good. And the other wheels, besides some minor cuts, which has no effects. See, every once in a while there's a small cut, but that is well within limits. Then we go back for the flaps, flap tracks, make sure that they are in retracted position. And we go all the way to the end of the wing, make sure that the static discharger are all in place. And the wingtip is in good shape. Also, the fuel extract valve is still clean. And we'll just walk down the wing. And we are back to engine number 1. And as we check engine number 1, again, the pressure relief doors are all closed. We can check the fan, the back of the fan, the back of the core engine, There's nothing in there, no leaks, no fuel. Under the aircraft and under the engine, it looks very clean. And we just move to the forward part. We have the fan. It's looking good, no dents, no traces of birds or anything like that. No puddle of fuel. It's a clean one. Same thing on the other side of the engine, checking that all valves and panels are closed. Now we walk back to the side fuselage. That all looks good. The outflow valve, checking that there's nothing stuck in the outflow valve. It's in the full open position since we're on the ground. Left side, same thing as on the right side. We have the 3 static ports, captain, standby, and first officer. And we are back to the nose wheel. By doing this, we've done the complete external of the aircraft. We checked that everything was fine for flight. There's no discrepancy. So let's get the engine started.
So just going through the panel, checking that basically all lights are off. Here we have just one light on, which is the flight recorder we set on the ground. Our IRSs are now in NEF mode. Checking that the seat belts, no smokings are on. Checking that for the moment we are no APU, we have no air conditioning, but it's nice weather for the moment in Brussels, so we don't need it. All electricals are normal. We are on outside static ground power. The fuel, all pumps are set in, and we have a total fuel quantity of 39 tons 780 kilos. Hydraulics, all lights are out, system is checked. Fire lights on both, checking the fire switches on both sides. That's engine 1, that's engine 2, squibs, fire lights, and also that the fire switches on the ground panel are on as well. Coming back to the upper panel, we just checked that here all lights are out. Secondary panel is prepared, and make a test of the ground recorder, and it's working fine. Going back to the center panel, flight director constraints. We have ARC 10, 2 times VOR. Initial altitude will be 6,000, so that's already pre-selected. Checking here, we have our airspeed indicator with the 149 SV1, 152 SV2. We have climb blue, nav blue, which means our FMS is initialized. We have both flight directors selected on, initial altitude of 6,000 blue. We have our altitude, which is 130 feet with KNH of 1016 for the moment, and we have a heading of 336, 336, 336, and 334, so that's within the limits. Navigation display, ground speed is 0, TAS is dashed, wind is dashed as well. Our first turning point is at 700 feet, 247.7 nautical miles. VOR are selected. We have manual inserted Brussels on VOR 2, Chièvre manually inserted but not identified on VOR 1. Standby airspeed is correct at 0. Standby altimeter on 1016. I have 180 feet, is still within the limits. Standby horizon caged and to 0. DDRMI is correct. Switching is all in auto. Clock, we are the 29th of March 2011. The time 8:33, which is correct. Gravity extension of the gear is checked locked position. Gear is down, we have the 3 greens. No auto brakes, anti-skid is on, brake fans are off. FMS has been initialized. Here we can already preset the audio panel. Frequencies, can pre-select initially the frequency of delivery, 1 to 195, and 11805, which is the ground afterwards. Lights are set, radar is pre-selected with 4 degrees tilt up. Pressurization, we have system 2 is working today, and it's all selected in auto. We have an idle, both switches are off, ignition is normal, it's all set exactly on the first officer side, the transponder is in auto, system 1 off, above, and the TCAS is on standby. Voilà. That's for the setup of the airplane. If you're ready for the instruments, 1016, I have 130 feet.
116, 135 feet.
Oxygen check. Yeah, that's well. So for the briefing, I fly the 330, takeoff with packs off, engine anti-ice off. It's a takeoff runway 25 right, full runway length, config 2, flex of 41, and no weather radar required for departure. In case of any problem before V1, I call stop or go and I take stop actions. You monitor reverse green and decel. In case of a problem after V1, I fly, you clear normal on my command. Engine fail, we proceed straight ahead, 1700 feet, clean up, acceleration. Then we can climb to 3000 feet on course to Brno. And then from Brno we can come back on 25 right. It's nice weather, we can remain VMC the whole time. If we have to enter a hold, we can enter the hold of Brno, Antwerp, Flora, whatever they give us as holding. We are anyway above the max landing weight, so we have time to figure it out. If everything goes fine, I expect a Chièvre 1 Charlie departure with the 10-3, and it gives us actually straight ahead to 700 feet. Then we turn on a course of 294 to proceed to the 7 DME of Brussels. Then we turn to intercept the 225 inbound to Chièvre, Van Chièvre to Médil, Lesdo, Covin, and we can check the rest of the routing. Covin, Resmi, Descotes, Dissac, Despommes, Dirmo, Artax, Bébix, Limoges, Velin, Sauveterre, Ansac, Thun, Pamplona, Vazum, Barahona, Mitum, Bossio, Gotor, Campo, Monto, Molin, Hotel India Juliet, Sierra Victor Lima, Clana, Corno, Aboda, Akema, Lacam, Charlie Bravo Alpha, Charlie Sierra Delta, Vessen, Nakex, Alpha Delta Mike, Morox, Echet, Bimok, Asvor, Zulu Romeo Tango, Alpha Romeo, Timox, Nalet, Povin, Denos, Amtol, and then it's arrival for the runway 32 in Banjul. I have a total of 2,576 nautical miles. I will put here already the estimated weights, so we can have a fuel prediction. 39.8. Let's see what he's going to give us. 6 hours and 6 minutes and 6.4 landing fuel. Radnaf, have Chièvre, Brussels to have a DME, and Oscar Papa for the 25 right if we have to come back. Fuel prediction 6.4 in Banjul, 3.8 in Dakar. Scenery flight plan, we can put afterwards a return back to 225 right or 25 left. In this case we have 25 left set in. Data, we are 3 times enough within limits, 0.2. In it, Brussels, Banjul, Dakar's diversion, beeline 223 call sign, cost index 50, cruising level initially 370. We have an estimated zero fuel of 160 tons, which gives us 189.5 on the takeoff weight and 166.4 on the landing weight. Therefore, we have 49, 49 and 53, which is according to our computations. 1700 for the detection, 3200 for the acceleration. Transition is 4,500 feet. Speed limit 250 below 10,000 is standard. And the progress 370 for an optimum at 375. And we are GPS primary accuracy is high. Flight diameter constraints are set, 6,000 is set. Fuel is balanced in the wings, in the tail. And we have the OA base.
So loss of autopilot and auto thrust associated with alternate low reversion, Manoeuvres radial altimeter,
Yes.
and manoeuvres vertical profile during on-off lock and backlog approaches.
That's
all.
That's all. Questions?
Nope.
Then we can do the before start checklist.
Cockpit preparation,
Is completed,
gear pins and covers,
removed,
signs,
on auto,
ADs,
enough,
fuel quantity,
39 tons 800,
takeoff data,
set,
and bow RF
1016 3 times set.
1016 sets. Before start checklist on the line completed.
Thank you. So for the moment the aircraft is just located here on 1 south. So what we will get is a pushback. We'll just get to taxi onto the outer, onto the Bravo 1 intersection. Then we proceed via Echo 6 to cross runway 20, proceed on Fox 5, Whiskey to just the beginning of 25 right. Since we're rather heavy today, we'll take the full runway length, taking off just at the beginning of 25 right. We'll use the full runway length at 700 feet. We'll transition to our departure, which means initially a right turn, then just following just about the ring around Brussels, onto the left turn inbound to Chièvres. Chièvres is just about in the area of Mons, just at the French boundary. And then after that we'll just be proceeding just about straight south down France. We have the map. So basically we'll be just going straight down south of France, just going through the middle of Spain, just passing on the west side of Morocco, then just going at the boundary with Nouakchott, which is Mauritania, and then we'll proceed back down to the Dakar, the fear of Dakar, since Banjul is controlled by Dakar. The circles you see on our map is just to give us an idea of the airports that we can use en route if we have any problem. Of course, over Europe there are airports wherever we need them, so that's no problem. We have Madrid in the middle of Spain, which is the easiest for us. And then we can use Casablanca, we can use Agadir if we need it, we can use Nouakchott, Nouadhibou, and we can use Dakar on the arrival if it's needed. What we'll be doing on this flight is just stopping into Banjul, and our next stretch will be just doing Banjul to Conakry. It's just a short jump, and then back Conakry to Banjul. So that's the sketch of the day.
Hello ladies and gentlemen, good morning, your captain speaking. Welcome on board this aircraft with destination Banjul. In just a few minutes we'll be starting our engines, and our flight time today will be 5 hours and 55 minutes. I wish a very pleasant flight. Dames en heren, goedemorgen. Gestrekt worden, welkom aan boord het vliegtuig met bestemming Banjul. Binnen een paar rolling onze motor opstarten. Onze vliegtuig vandaag zal 5 uur 55 minuten bedragen. Ik wens een aangename vlucht. Mesdames et messieurs, bonjour, votre commandant, bienvenue à bord de cet avion à destination de Banjul. D'ici quelques instants, nous mettrons la moteur en route pour un temps de vol de 5 heures et 55 minutes. Je vous souhaite un agréable vol.
And we are clear for pushback.
Et pushing.
The before start checklist
Yes, sir. Windows and doors.
are closed.
There's an on beacon,
On
thrust levers,
Idle.
and parking brake.
is off. Starting engine number 1.
Okay, one.
We are starting engine number 1. We have pressure.
Lufthansa
Start valve is
November,
open.
taxi.
We have an inside
Delta
engine
1 Fox
starting to
November,
turn.
taxi Sierra, Archer, Bravo 1 holding point, runway 25 right,
We have ignition B. Fuel flow, AGT is increasing. And we have the fan starting to turn. Oil pressure is in the green. Start valve is closed. Engine is available. Starting engine number 2.
Number 2.
Engine number 2. We have pressure, stall valve is open. And 2. Ignition B. Fuel flow, AGT.
New taxi to park brake.
And the brakes is set, you may put us down. Start valve is closed. Engine 2 is stabilizing. And we have 2 good start. You may disconnect everything else signal on the left hand side, and I wish you a very sunny day.
Have a nice flight. I'll see you on the left side.
Thank you, bye bye. And the after start checklist
Anti-ice,
is off.
takeoff status,
Checked.
Mach takeoff,
25 set.
rudder trim
0
and ground equipment.
is removing.
And ground line 223 ready for taxi. Full left, full
Delta 1
right,
Fox November, contact tower 120, that's Lufthansa
Control.
75.
Lufthansa 1 Fox November 120-775. Bye-bye.
Beeline 223, taxi Echo 5, cross 02, Foxtrot 4, Whiskey 41, holding point, runway 25 right, QNH 1016.
okay, taxi via Romeo 4, Echo
So
5,
we have a
Whiskey,
reclearance
holding point 25 right.
for our
QH
taxi. We will
1016,
taxi
line,
via
223.
Echo 5 and just cross the runway 02 and then proceeding to 25
62
right. It's
Foxtrot
a
behind
little
you,
short.
opposite Brussels
And the right
Airlines,
is clear.
joining outers, continue inland
Left
and
is
142.
clear. Lights on. Brakes released. Brake pressure check.
Pressure 0.
Hamburger 516, transponder on.
And we can do the before takeoff checklist.
Flight controls,
Checked.
checked, flight instruments,
Checked.
checked, briefing,
Is confirmed Chef 1 Charlie.
flap setting,
Config 2.
November Bravo Alpha,
Config
the
2,
Sierra line is
speed
on
and
your
flex
left hand
temperature.
side.
149, 149, 153, flex 41.
So 149, 149, 153, 41 is checked. ATC
Set.
and ACA memo
Takeoff, no blow.
before takeoff down the line completed.
Thank you.
Beeline 223 Tower, hello, 5 Whiskey 41, line up and wait, runway 25 right.
And up await 25 right, beeline 223.
And I have
Cabin
ATC,
crew.
a call to the cabin.
So cabin crew,
Has been advised.
TCAS,
Terra
engine start selector,
is normal.
and the packs.
Are off.
Approach is clear.
Beeline 223, wind calm, runway 25 right, cleared for takeoff.
Before takeoff, beeline 223.
Now be a rolling takeoff.
Roger.
Manflex 41, SRS,
Beeline
runway
162 Delta,
autocross blue.
contact departure
Checked.
126, 625, bye. 1665, bye-bye, Ground 1, Victor Delta.
Trust, set.
Tower Go Beeline for Papa Zulu is ready, Bravo 1.
100 knots.
Papa Zulu Tower, hello via Bravo 1, line up and wait runway 25 right, expect 2 more minutes delay for Victor 1 separation.
Very good, line up and wait 25 right, Beeline for Papa Zulu.
V1, rotate. Positive climb.
Yep. Enough.
Check.
Now be a rolling takeoff.
Roger.
Manflex 41, SRS.
Now Victor Delta, contact departure
Checked.
126.625, bye. 1665, bye-bye, Ground 1, Victor Delta.
Trust, set.
Tower Go Beeline for Papa Zulu is ready, Bravo 1.
100 knots.
Papa Zulu Tower, hello via Bravo 1, line up and wait runway 25 right, expect 2 more minutes delay for Victor 1 separation.
Very good, line up and wait 25 right, Beeline for Papa Zulu.
V1, rotate. Positive climb.
Yep. Enough.
Checked.
Beeline for Papa Zulu, can we backtrack the complete runway?
Beeline for Papa Zulu, if you wish, you can backtrack, yes.
Thank you.
Beeline 223, contact buses control on the 131.1, bye-bye.
1311, Beeline 223, bye-bye.
Flaps 1.
And speed is checked. Flaps 1. Brussels control, hello, Beeline 223, climbing pedal 70.
Beeline 223, Brussels, good morning, climb to flight level 240, inbound to Medil.
Flap 0.
Climb pedal 240, direct to middle, Beeline 223. And speed is checked, flaps 0, direct middle. Standard cross-checked, passing 50 now.
Correct. Have to take off checklist.
Landing gear,
Is up.
flaps,
Retracted.
backs,
On.
MRF,
1013 standard set.
10, standard set.
Max 516, roger. Max 516, climb to flight level 240.
Autopilot 1.
Checked.
Easy 1.
Paris, bonjour, Beeline 223, climbing pedal 240 out of 192.
Beeline 223, bonjour, climb flight 260.
Climb pedal 260, Beeline 223.
Hello Thompson, flight Tango Golf, flight level 380.
Thompson, Tango Golf, bonjour monsieur, maintain flight level 380, proceed direct to Manac.
Today on our flight we had 165 souls on board, 154 passengers and 11 crew, which gave us about a takeoff weight at 200 tons. And today we made all our calculations according to the 200 tons. As you have noticed on takeoff, we went pretty far down the runway, reducing as much as possible the wear on the engines for the takeoff. There is a noise abatement procedure in Brussels that requires to initially reduce our takeoff thrust at 1500 feet and then only to accelerate to 3000 feet once we are above the city. The turns you saw we made, actually, and the ones you see on the charts, made a first turn at 700 feet, which was exactly above the runway, and we turned to reach this point, which is exactly above the ring that goes around Brussels. That way, the noise that we have above Brussels is kept over the ring where the most of the traffic jam is going on. And this is why we made some turns, tried to stay above the ring, going outbound and intercepting inbound to the Chèvre VOR. We had a pretty easy climb, switching first to Brussels approach, then we switched to Paris approach, and we had a continuous climb all the way up to flight level 370. On our climb, we used about 5 to 5.5 tons of fuel during our climb. We have currently an average fuel flow of 6 tons per hour. We have another 5 hours to fly. So it still gives you an idea that we'll be landing around the 6 to 7 tons. So the whole fuel used today will be around 30 tons of fuel for our whole flight. We have a little bit of headwind on our way down, which makes our flying time a little bit longer than usual. We would usually fly like 5 hours, 15 minutes, and today we're flying 5 hours, 25 minutes. So a little bit longer than usual. It will be pretty smooth as most of the jets are above the Atlantic and north of us, and there's no jet stream foreseen over Africa. So we should have a smooth ride all the way down. Visibility is really nice today. It's a little bit hazy up sun, but for the rest it's really nice weather. And we're expecting all the way down, especially above the desert, to have a very nice view above the desert. The approach we're having into Banjul, as we will see later on, and we will brief it with the co-pilot as we were getting down, is a pretty easy approach as we are coming 90 degrees off the runway, making just one turn to get into downwind and then to final approach on runway 32 in Banjul. There are some works on the runway for the moment in Banjul, so there is no ILS available, so we'll mostly be flying visual into the field. Airport is pretty standard for Africa. The apron is quite small, so everything we'll have to do is really be careful about birds and any animals on the runway, and once we get into the parking as well.
Beeline 223, come on, flight level 380.
Climb level 380, Beeline 223.
Beeline 223, contact Nouakchott 1242, au revoir.
Nouakchott for Beeline 223.
Beeline 223, Nouakchott, good afternoon, go ahead.
Nouakchott, hello, Beeline 223, maintaining flight level 380, over at Eshet at 1255, BMOC 1317, Osvor 1332, Zuaret 1338, Alfa Romeo 1357, Timox at 1420, Nalet 1423, and Povin 1428 for Beeline 223.
And 223, copy to clear for estimate. Maintain level 380, next report BMOC.
Report BMOC, Beeline 223.
NetD, I understand November Echo Victor Delta India will be at 1441.
6025, Roger, Beta level 360 clear, next report BMOC.
So we've been flying for about 4 hours and 20 minutes now. We have contact with Mauritania. It's Nouakchott that's controlling us for the moment. They have no radar, so we have still to talk between airplanes to make our position. If you see on our screen right now, we have an airplane that's 2,000 feet below us, right behind, and also on the same route. If I change the range, you might see it even a little bit better. He's about 20 kilometers behind us for the moment. So where are we right now? If we can look at the chart, this is just a normal map to make it easier for you to see. We have been coming all the way down from Casablanca to Agadir. We have just entered Mauritania. We have overflown the city of Zouerat, and we are now on course to Attar. We're halfway, and we have for another 1 hour and 40 minutes to fly, and then we'll be at destination. We will be just about over the desert, passing Abim Nouakchott, just on our way down to Banjul. Just Abim Saint-Louis. Here is the boundary with Senegal. We'll be entering Senegal, and as we get closer to the coast, you'll see the landscape will change from desert to more green. And just as we pass over the river, because Banjul is just on the edge of the sea and the river, you'll see it's very green, and we'll have a nice approach just above the river. So whether we have NOTAMs, we still have a NOTAMs for a displaced threshold, which still indicated on the temporary NOTAM. The routing, we are currently on course to Amtol, which will be an interception for a localizer glide slope out runway 32. The minimum safe altitude is 2,500 feet with a grid altitude in the sector of 2,100. So 2,005 being the highest. We take 2,005 as minimum safe altitude. We cross Amtol at 2,500 feet, descending to 1,600 feet. When we cross the outer marker, which is at 5.7 DME of Bravo Juliet, we descend on a 3-degree glide to 360 feet, which is the minimum MDA. We cross the runway will be at 74 feet. To be kept in mind, that is a displaced threshold, so we'll fly slightly above standard glide to meet for the displaced threshold. We will use full runway length if we need to. If speed is under control and we have enough reverse, we can vacate immediately on the right turn. We'll not force on the brakes. If we need to, we go to the end. There's a turning path. We use a turning path 180 and come back to the apron. So as we will be coming inside, what can we expect? To fly over the river, probably be hazy. The sun will be setting down from the west. Coming into final, be aware, even lights, all lights that we have, unless the tower can confirm that displaced threshold is not applicable, all is foreseen for the displaced threshold. Now what do we have in the computer? We have for the moment direct to Amtol, then DME 107, descending to 1,600 feet. Then we cross for a descent on a 3-degree glide, 5.7 Banjul, crossing the runway threshold at 120. The go around will be straight ahead 1,600 feet when we turn right, climbing 2,500 feet and to enter the hold at Amtol. So we'll just fly just basically over the river on course to Amtol. To enter the hold into Upton, it will be a teardrop entry into the Amtol hold. Minimum holding altitude 2,500 feet, which is also the MSA, so that's no problem. In the RADNAV page, we have November and November Delta in the ADF. Fuel prediction, we have 6.8 in Banjul. If we go to Dakar, 4.2, still gives us some extra fuel. Secondary, for the moment, is a copy of the active. There's nothing special with the diversion to Dakar if needed. Perf page, it will be a managed descent, 0.82, 320. We have 250 below 10,000 feet. Weather is set in, wind from the north at 6 knots, 32 degrees, a QNH of 1009, which can pre-select on the standby altimeter. We have a VAPP of 133 knots, a green dot of 205, an MDA of 360 for a config full. For the moment, we have a GPS primary. We are in accuracy high. It will be flown initially flight director with LS to have the localizer with autopilot on. Once we're lined up, autopilot will come off, flight director will come off, and we proceed visual. Okay? If the weather is nice, if we see the runway on our right-hand side, nice in view, we can disconnect autopilot and auto thrust a little bit sooner. I will use no auto brakes as it's warm outside, just normal braking. Questions? And our top of descent will be just in about 10 miles, so in 1 minute we can ask for the descent into Banjul. So the only thing we have to clarify with the approach of Banjul is to see the status of the displaced threshold. If in doubt, we use the displaced. Displaced is always safe. If they are not sure about the NOTAM, I'll use the other one.
And Dakar for beeline 223.
Dakar?
It's a beeline 223, we are standing by for descent.
Roger, descent initially flight level 330.
Descending flight level 330, beeline 223.
Voilà, 330 blue, thrust idle, open descent.
Bonjour, Calvert 6881, climb level 340 to Moxa, Moxa 1511.
Out of 200.
Dakar beeline 223, passing flight level 200.
Roger, report passing level 80 now.
Report out of
report passing 80, beeline 223.
And we have thrust idle.
Passing now flight level 10030 miles from Banjul.
Are you in contact with Banjul?
Negative.
Okay, contact them on 121.3 and bye-bye.
121.3, bye-bye.
Iberia 6821 and Iberia 6.
Banjul for beeline 223.
Beeline 223, Banjul approach. Good afternoon, time check 02, go ahead.
That's beeline 223, we're now on course to Amtol and estimating landing at 1513.
Beeline 223, Banjul, Roger, expect Amtol VOR DME approach runway 32, Banjul latest, wind 320 degrees 6 knots, Cap OK, temperature 33, QNH 1009.
Okay, weather is copied for the VOR confirmed. Localizer is not in use?
AFAM localizer off the air.
Okay, that's copied, beeline 223.
23 says souls on board, fuel endurance.
So fuel endurance, we have 1 hour and 10 minutes, and the souls on board are 165.
Copied, report next when released.
And you are released from Dakar, beeline 223.
223, clear to Amtol. Continue descent to 2,500 feet, QNH 1009. No delay, Amtol VOR DME 32, report Amtol status.
Okay, clear down 2,500 feet, QNH 1009 to Amtol to report Amtol and confirm the displaced threshold is still in force.
Negative, nil displacement.
check your
Landing
totals.
distance available 3,600 meters.
Okay, roger. Beeline 223.
Thank you.
3,
Descending
2.
2,500 feet blue. And we can do the
That's
approach
correct.
checklist.
QNH
Altimeter
1009
check
runway.
first. Correct. Is confirmed.
ACAM status.
Checked.
Seatbelts.
On.
Bar ref.
1009, 3 times set.
1009 set. MDA.
360 set
360 set and engine start selector.
is normal.
Project is complete.
Roger.
Open descent.
Yep. Thrust idle, open descent 1600 blue.
Checked.
Confirm position, I'm told.
FM Beeline 223 just passed Amtol. We're now 13 miles Banjul.
Beeline 223, clear straight in view at DMA report 5 miles 6.
Report 5.6 Beeline 223.
5 miles.
5 miles Beeline 223.
Flaps 1.
And speed is checked. Flaps 1. Radial
Speed
altimeter
managed.
alive.
And further descent will be at 5.7 DME.
Roger.
I have a very steady VOR. Autopilot coming off. Flight director off.
And runway inside.
Auto thrust off. Birds.
Yeah, above. Not flat.
5.7 gear down.
And 3, 2, 1, c'est bon.
FM.
Gears down.
Flaps 3.
Speed checked. Flaps 3. 5 knots tailwind.
Yep. And flaps full.
Speed checked again. Flaps full.
Landing checklist.
Cabin.
Secured.
Auto thrust.
Speed. No, sorry.
Off. And ACAM memo.
Landing. No blue.
Manage is complete. And Beeline 223 is now passing at 3 miles.
Beeline 223, clear land runway 32, wind 3605 knots.
And land 32 Beeline 223.
Shot bird.
Yeah.
6479.
Park 6479,
above.
go ahead.
Could you just confirm the takeoff
Roger.
line available on runway 32?
Minimum.
Is it 2,900 meters or 3,600 meters?
He's asking us.
Yeah.
3,600 meters.
Thank you very much.
100. 50, 40, 30, 20, retard 10.
Ground spoilers, reverse green. Beeline 223 is now passing at 3 miles.
Beeline 223, crash land runway 32, wind 3605 knots.
Takeoff land 32, Beeline 223.
Charge bird.
Yeah.
Monarch 6479.
Park 6479,
100 above.
go ahead.
Could you just confirm the takeoff
Roger.
line available on runway 32?
Minimum.
Is it 2,900 meters or 3,600 meters?
He's asking us.
Yeah.
3,600 meters.
Thank you very much.
100. 50, 40, 30, 20, retard 10.
Ground spoilers, reverse green.
Yeah, here we have headwinds.
Yeah,
tailwind
final,
light.
yeah, 5. Termites.
And the after landing checklist when you have time.
After landing. Flaps,
Retracted.
spoilers,
Disarmed.
APU,
Is starting.
and the radar.
Is off.
After landing is completed.
Yep.
Rocket left again with the master.
223.
Yeah, small parking for a big bird. Clear to the right?
Yeah, turn right.
Yeah, no. I have to go straight. Otherwise my wheels are gonna be all shoved in.
APU on?
Wow, this is interesting parking.
Yeah.
APU bleed is on.
Yep.
Engine 1. Engine 2. And the parking checklist.
APU bleed.
On.
Engines.
Off.
Seat belts.
Off.
Exterior lights.
All off.
Fuel pumps.
Off.
Parking brake and chocks.
Brakes. Set. Shocks. No idea. It's been a nice flight. As you see, weather was quite hazy today. Otherwise, it's standard African operations. Nice, warm and humid weather. So for the ones that would like to visit Banjul, it's the place to be.